Well, the festival was over and the boys were all planning for the fall. And the cabaret was quiet, except for all the drilling in the wall. Well, the curfew had been lifted and the gambling wheel shut down. Anyone with any sense had already left the town. He was standing there in the doorway like the Jack of Hearts. Well, he moved across the mirrored room, set it up for everyone, he said. And everyone commenced to do what they were doing before he turned their heads. Then he walked up to a stranger and he asked them with a grin, "Could you kindly tell me, friend, what time the show begins?" And he moved into the corner, face down like the Jack of Hearts. Well, backstage the girls were playing 5-card stud by the stairs. And Lily had 2 queens, he was hoping for a third to match her pair. And outside the streets were filling up, the windows open wide. A gentle breeze was blowing, you could feel it from inside. And Lily called another bet and drew up the Jack of Hearts. Well, Big Jim was no one's fool, he owned the town's only diamond mine. He made his usual entrance, looking so dandy and so fine. With his bodyguards and silver cane, and every hair in place, he took whatever he wanted to, he laid it all to waste. But his bodyguards and silver cane were no match for the Jack of Hearts. Well, Rosemary combed her hair and took a carriage into town. And she slipped in through the side door, looking like a queen without a crown. Well, she fluttered her false eyelashes, whispered in his ear, "I'm sorry, darling, but I'm late." He didn't seem to hear. He was staring into space, over at the Jack of Hearts. And I know I've seen that face before, Big Jim was thinking to himself. Well, maybe down in Mexico, or a picture up on someone's shelf. And then the crowd began to stamp their feet, and the house lights did dim. In the darkness of the room, that was only Jim and him, staring at the butterfly who just drew the Jack of Hearts. Well, Lily's arms were locked around the man that she dearly loved to touch. She forgot all about the man who couldn't stand, who hounded her so much. "Well, I missed you so," she said to him, and he felt she was sincere. But just beyond the door, he felt jealousy and fear. It's just another night in the life of the Jack of Hearts. Well, no one knew the circumstance, but they say it happened pretty quick. The door to the dressing room burst open and a cold revolver clicked. And Big Jim was standing there, and you couldn't say surprised. And Rosemary right beside him, steady in her eyes. She was with Big Jim, but she was leaning to the Jack of Hearts. Well, doors down, the boys finally made it through the hall. They cleaned out the bank safe. It said they got off with quite a haul. In the darkness by the riverbed, they waited on the ground for one more member who had business back in town. But they couldn't go no further without the Jack of Hearts. Well, the next day was hanging day, and the sky was overcast and black. Big Jim lay covered up, killed by a penknife in the back. And Rosemary on the gallows, she didn't even blink. The hanging judge was sober, he hadn't had a drink. And the only person on the scene missing was the Jack of Hearts. Well, the cabaret was empty now. The sign said closed for repair. Lily had already taken all of the dye out of her hair. She was thinking about her father, who she rarely saw, and thinking about Rosemary, and thinking about the law. But most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts.